Hey everyone, and welcome to another mail day video. Today we're going to be going over some more cards I've received in the mail recently. I think you all enjoyed the first one, so I wanted to do another one with you guys, and let's see what I got in the mail today. Let's start off with this one. Let's give you a quick preview of the foils I got here. As usual, we're going to go through each one and talk about the foil itself. Sit back, relax, and hopefully you'll just hear my voice for the next 10-15 minutes or so, probably a bit longer. First one is Eternal Witness. Again, that full art or extended art version of it looks really, really good. Look at that. Looks awesome. It's a pretty mint card. Happy to see. Again, using KMC Perfect Fit Hards and double sleeving. Maybe one day I'll show you all my my binder. That might be a bit much though, but I can show the binder where I store all of these cards. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Yes, it's banned essentially everywhere, but I wanted to own a playset of these anyway because they look awesome. Look at that. Look at that extended art. He knew he was gonna get banned the minute he was printed on this card. Never know. Either Wizard starts another format someday and this card becomes legal in it, or they have a huge lapse in judgment and they unban it in Modern, or essentially every other format that they banned it in. And then all of a sudden this card becomes valuable again. Actually, given the fact that it is banned essentially everywhere, the cost of the card is actually still pretty high. By the way, the feel of this card also very different. It's interesting. I mean, it's not the first time I've felt this kind of card stock, so I'm no longer fearing that it's fake. But yeah, they definitely don't feel like your typical Magic card. I don't know why. I don't know what they changed about it. Obviously it's the card stock, I guess, or the foiling process. Whatever it is, feels a little alien. Maybe I'm just not used to it yet. That being said, there's Oko, alternate art. Looking good, being benched, essentially. A popular sideboard card, a Braid. I think it's actually pretty great. Here, let me show you that card before I sleeve it up. Nothing too special here. Typical foil. A Braid itself is a pretty good card. Being able to choose to deal 3 damage to a creature or destroy an artifact is actually awesome because it... I guess at the end of the day, it's a better Ancient Grudge. I feel kind of bad saying that because Ancient Grudge has the flashback, so you can destroy 2 artifacts, but the ability to choose really makes this a lot more flexible for your sideboard. We only have a limited amount of slots, so that flexibility is useful. You would be surprised how hard it was to find a foil Expedite. I don't know why, but it was really hard. Everywhere that I normally buy from, and I look at about 7, 8, 9 different online stores across Canada and USA, none of them had it except one that had like 20, which was funny. I think that was Channel Fireball. But literally everywhere else it was sold out, literally, and not so much luck on eBay either. At least the prices were ridiculous. But Channel Fireball was being sane about it. I found it on there, I purchased it, and yeah, now I have it. I was just shocked at the cost. I mean, at the rarity. Like, it was just, I understand that it's an interesting card. I know it's played in red aggro decks, but I didn't think the foil would be in such demand. It's just the common. There must have been 1 million of these printed. Did I only get 3 in this? I thought I had all 4 in this order. Did I miss one? Huh, okay. Maybe there's a 4th one on the way somewhere else. Another hard foil to find, surprisingly. Soul Guide Lantern. I mean, honestly, I kind of still prefer my Graphdicker's Cage. But I understand the flexibility of Soul Guide Lantern. Foiling's pretty decent, but the art is just normal. There's nothing special about it, so it looks like your typical artifact foil. Again, no, actually a hard foil to find. You'd be surprised. I had to look long and hard to get all 4 of these. I don't think I have all 4 here, but I do have 4 total. Yeah, it's not bad. Chandras Incinerator. Look at that. Just get a full grip shot there. Yeah. Interesting foiling process on these. I know it's just a spellbook, so we've seen it before, but still that fire at the bottom. That little flame strip. It's pretty nice. A lot of people are going nuts over this card. I mean, hey, it's a 6/6 that has trample, and yeah, it can come down for essentially 1 red to get a 6/6 trampler. And essentially, you can, whatever damage you deal that's non-combat damage to your opponent, I understand that you can then essentially copy that damage and target a creature or planeswalker, but still, I mean, it's great turn 1, 2, and 3 when you have a full hand of burn spells. Top deck this when you really need just a burn spell, and instead you draw Chandras Incinerator. Yeah. You're not going to be very happy. It's one thing to top deck like a Goblin Guide or Monastery Swift Spear or whatever that you normally play. It's another thing to top deck Chandras Incinerator where you probably still don't have 6 mana to hard cast it. And you don't have necessarily enough firepower to cast it cheap. So then you have to hold cards in hand, and I don't know. Really a double-edged sword. Oh, Great Sable Sag. I think I have 3 more of these. So I do. Might as well get rid of them all at the same time. So this is Modern's True Name Nemesis, or at least it's the closest we'll get to True Name Nemesis in Modern. Protection from blue and from black. You can make this a True Name Nemesis using Painter's Servant, which is hilarious. Because you make, let's say, all cards blue, and essentially it's protected from your opponent. It's just an awesome card against, I mean, realistically speaking, it's great against control decks. Because you can't counter it, can't really remove it with your blue spells, so it means you can't target it with Cryptic Command or anything else blue normally runs to try and remove creatures. Can't boomerang it or anything like that either. Also has protection from black, so even if you're running blue-black, odds are you will not be able to get around this card. And if your creatures are blue or your creatures are black, well, then you're not blocking it either. So against a blue deck, or at least against a control deck or a blue-black deck, it's essentially True Name Nemesis. Of course, it'll never be as good, but it's actually pretty funny that this was printed back in M10, so you really tilt your control opponent when they see this on the battlefield. Some random rare from M10 that no one really plays in Modern, but you bring it in as a sideboard tech. Yeah, they get salty. Oops, they get really salty. But think about it. You have 2 or 3 of these in your sideboard if you're really having issues with control matches. Boom, problem solved. They're not going to get around this. Oh yes. Ren and 6. Dear God, I hope they don't reprint this anytime soon because the card price is going to drop. These foils are so expensive, but come on, let's be honest. Ren and 6 is an awesome planeswalker. Basically everywhere in the red-green decks. I have him in some of my teamer decks as well. Foiling, pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but it's nice. The art's nice, and I think that's what helps the most here. Pretty good condition. Ren. Pretty straight. It's not that curved. I don't think the curling is really from the foiling on this card. So yeah, these were way more expensive than I thought they would be. Nevertheless, I wanted a full playset, and I think these two round it out to 4. And they will be properly protected, double sleeved. Yeah. I also don't let anyone touch my cards. No one touches my deck. When I do get deck checked, I often ask to be within view of my deck. I don't mind getting deck checked, obviously. Of course, the judges can do whatever they want, but I want to be able to see my cards at all times because, hey, the judge is not necessarily always paying attention to what's going on, and someone can slip by and take a card or a bunch, and I don't want that. Surgical Extraction. I really like this art. Again, I know it's not OG, but I think the promo art looks good. The foiling process is decent. There's a nice little transition between the body and everything else. Pretty good. I'm running Surgical Extraction in my Teamer Prowess aggro deck. It's mostly there. I mean, it's there to hit on graveyards, but it's there to also be a free spell so that I can then cast Stormwing Entity for 2, which is always good. Next up is Forked Bolt. Another oldie but a goodie. Can come in handy in some metas. Again, I mostly just wanted it for my collection, not necessarily putting this in a specific deck. Yeah. Let's get some air out of there. Alright. Oh, the air is out for now. You guys can watch in very slow motion as the air fills back up in all the cards. Let's close this out. You guys see? Air is already filling back. Filling back up. It's got Mystic Sanctuary up next. I wonder if we're still going to be seeing a lot of these with the Snowblade decks going away. Probably still going to see it. Still be abused. Relatively normal, like just very neutral art. But the foiling is decent enough on this. The blue is slightly more faded than other blue cards that I've seen. Still looks good, and this is a very good condition card. No real curling there. As long as my foils can't stand up straight, or I should say stand up for themselves, by themselves, curled, I know I'm doing a good job. Generally speaking, you want to keep them somewhere where the relative humidity is less than 40%. For example, right now in this room, I'm looking at the thermostat that has humidity reading on it as well across the room. Humidity is 49% in this room, which is not bad. It's not great. But when I store these in a safe that also has those little gel packs, well, it's in a canister actually, it brings the humidity down to mid 30s. So which is fine. You don't want it to be too dry either. But mid, you know, in the 30s range is pretty good. Some more sideboard tech. Kind of similar to the Great Sable Stag. I just wanted a Witch Stalker. I like the art. Foiling is decent as well. So yeah, keep your foils in a dry place and they won't curl that much. I mean, it's not your fault when they do curl. Generally speaking, it's Wizards. They need to find a... I don't know what the solution is, but they need to find a better way. But it is what it is. You got to work with what you got. This is a pretty cool sideboard card. Eyes of the Wizened. Tribal Enchantment, which is nice because if it dies, you feature Tarmogoyf if you're playing Tarmogoyf in the deck. Whenever an opponent plays a blue spell during your turn, you may put a 4/4 green elemental creature token into play. For 2 mana, this is pretty good if you're playing a control deck. Assuming they don't counter it, they're going to think twice about countering stuff on your turn, which is when they're going to probably be countering stuff in the first place. So in a deck that's soft to control, this is a pretty good answer. And I'm mostly playing this in decks that already generated a lot of tokens, so it's more for synergy than anything else. Again, these are old, but if you look at it, no real curling. There's a bit, but nothing crazy. It's not going to be easy to spot on a deck. Alright, last 4. Bone Crusher Giant. I really like these adventures. The foiling is okay. I'm not crazy about the foiling on these cards. But I think the artwork is awesome. I like the frames a lot. I'm happy that they didn't replicate the frames in the other sets. I think it was great for this set. Yeah, they look great. Bone Crusher Giant is pretty awesome, by the way. Pretty awesome. Nice little 4/3. Again, this card stock, it's just so weird. The feeling is so weird. I've been touching other cards here that are just normal Magic cards. And it's just, the feeling is so weird. What's next? Another nice little sideboard card, Shaper's Sanctuary. So it's another enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability your opponent controls, you may draw a card. Again, this is going in decks that have a lot of draw card synergies. With Joel Rael, for example. So this is, again, a nice little card that you're bringing in against control or even burn. And you draw a card every time a creature is targeted, which is often. And this helps. It helps you draw more cards, helps you draw your answers. It's 1 green, so it's cheap. Alright. So this was another 20-minute video. I really try and go as fast as possible, but I also like to talk a bit, so we can have a bit of a discussion. By the way, the artwork is really cool on this one. Look at that. I don't know what they are, but they're awesome. They don't really look like elves, but they might be. Are they elves? No, those are definitely not elves. This was Ixalan, so I don't know what they were, but the artwork's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for sticking around if you're still around at this point. Here, look at that. Get all the air out. It flattens pretty nicely, but then the air will just fill back up. So we got all of these foiled. Now they're in their proper sleeves. thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If you enjoy my content in general, subscriptions would also be appreciated as well. Lets me know that you want to see more. Lets YouTube know that you're enjoying my content, that you want to see more. Helps grow the community. Check out my Facebook page, Delver Brews. You'll see the link on the end screen of this video or in the description down below. Same for the Patreon. If any of you want to start supporting what I'm doing, it'll go towards producing more videos like this or more videos that you want to see in general. So I'd love to hear what you want to see in the comments section down below in this video or in any of my videos. And yeah, stay tuned for the Delver Brews website. It's going to be coming. I can't wait for it. I want to launch it this year. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks and have a good one.